Hi there and welcome to this video, and today I'm joined by Christopher Carvalho.
Hiya.
And we're going to be talking about personal branding tips for music artists.
Absolutely.
So Christopher, what do you think is the most important thing that a music artist needs to do to get themselves known online?
When we talk about personal branding, I suppose that what we're talking about is like putting yourself forward as a person, right? So like that thing that people say, like people buy from people, right? Any branding or like any kind of like marketing or anything that you're trying to do in the marketplace is based on building trust, right, with other people. So the idea is that, you know, you're going into the market and you are putting yourself forward, but it's not self-promotion, right? It's not like, oh, I'm good at this, or I can do this, or I can help you with this. It's actually like putting yourself out there in a way that is useful to other people, right? So we kind of do this, I suppose, with our YouTube channels and our content and stuff like that. We just make content, right? We make content that is in some way or another of value to someone else, right?
Yeah.
And we do it as ourselves, right? You do it as Thomas George, I do it as Christopher Carvalho, and that, you know, that is personal branding, right? And we do that because it builds trust, right? It builds trust in the market, it builds trust in our audience, which is the only currency you really need in order to, like, you know, build a business or convert into another currency like money, all right? So yeah, the idea is like you're putting yourself forward as yourself, as a human being, going into the marketplace, being useful. It's like what we used to do, right? We've talked about this before, like going in Facebook groups and answering other people's Logic Pro 10 questions, right?
Yeah.
That's personal branding.
So if you're making music, it's not just about releasing songs and music videos. You want to be doing what, like vlogs, live streams,
Sure.
Communicating with your audience directly, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely communicating with your audience directly, definitely. Because we can do that now, and it's just something that you can just do. How you provide value is so dependent on what you're doing and who you are. But for an artist, or let's say artist or producer, right? That can just be like going into the industry and helping people in the industry. So you got to think of like, you know, if there is a bunch of people out there in the industry, let's say, and you want to form relationships with these people, then you need to go in and be of value to them first, right? So that might be like we used to do, or it might be like connecting with people on LinkedIn, and, you know, because you might have something actually, like it's easy to forget, right? Like, let's say you're an artist or producer and, you know, you're trying to connect with songwriters, you're trying to connect with managers or whatever it is. But you might, for example, be really, really good at photography, right? That might just be something you learned at school or something like that. You might have some gear or whatever. And then you approach people, it's like, hey, look, you know, I see that you might need, I saw that you might need some photography. I'm more than happy to help you out or whatever. Not necessarily saying do it for free, but like the idea is that you approach with value up front.
Oh, I would do it for free.
Right.
Yeah, what I would do is I would just turn up to their gig and then take photos, make sure they look awesome, take a really good camera, and then be like, hey, I took some photos, and send them the photos. Instant value.
Absolutely.
Don't ask them for any money, don't ask them for anything. Just, if I did a performance and someone sent me loads of awesome photos, I think that's incredible. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And also like how it's like, oh yeah, can you just WhatsApp them to me? And then you've got a dialogue or whatever, right?
Well, if you're actually at the performance taking photos, it's more serious than sending a message online.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And then just send it to them via email or,
I mean, the way that we used to do that, like at Unlock Your Sound, actually was, we still do it, but it was free mix feedback, right? So we'd just be like, hey, send us your mix. Like, we get it, you might be struggling with objectivity with the mix or whatever. Send it to us, we'll listen to it and give you some constructive feedback. Like, we kind of like built our brand on top of that ages ago, which was really, really good for us. So there are like scalable ways of doing it, and then there are like non-scalable ways of doing it. But the idea is that like you probably have something, like even if you think you don't have a lot, like as a human being, there's a lot you can do for other human beings when they need stuff. And everyone needs something right now. At any point in life, you need something right now, and that something changes over time. So if you are, you know, at the end of the day, it just comes back to relationships, doesn't it? Right? Like what doesn't work is spamming your content to people. What does work is forming relationships with people to the point where, you know, you care about them and they care about you, and then that's how things work.
Russell Brunson in his Traffic Secrets books talks about his top 100. So you need to find your top 100 people to collaborate with, and then find different ways of collaborating with them.
Yeah.
So if you can find the top 100 people, even top 10 people in your niche, and then collaborate with them, it doesn't have to be directly making music. It could be different ways, like helping them do their closed captions, helping them improve their website, helping them whatever, just to get your foot in the door so they know who you are. Because I'm sure you've got this before, Chris, is on like Facebook Messenger or someone, hey, I'm a social media agency, we'd like to help you with your Facebook ads. I'm like, oh, leave me alone. I'm like, I know they want something straight away. They're not collaborating, they're not offering me something. I know they're providing me with a service that could be good, but straight out the gate, they're trying to get me to sign up with them, and I don't know who you are. Why would I trust you? I don't know who you are. You have to build trust with someone before you ask for a sale, ask for anything. Ask to collaborate, use someone's time. The most important thing is time, really.
Sure.
So if you're trying to get someone to collaborate with you and spend your time with them and take a risk, because a lot of projects you do can be risky. Maybe there could be the best album you can make together. Maybe it flop, maybe it's terrible. Maybe it might be like Metallica and Lou Reed, who knows? So you have to really kind of test ideas out, because it's not always going to be perfect. Every collaboration you're going to do is not going to work. But if you collaborate with 100 different people who are really talented, I'm sure a few of them will work.
Definitely. I mean, that person, that social media agency person.
Well, like, there's loads of them. I get them all the time.
Yeah. But like anecdotally, that person could have, like, they could have done that so much better, where they could have been like, hey, Thomas, like, I noticed there was an issue on your website, and I looked into it for you, and here's the fix. Like, it won't take you a second.
Here's a WordPress plugin you need. Or
yeah,
something.
yeah. Like, I thought I'd just give you a heads up about that. Because if someone did that for me, I'd be like, thank you. Like, A, I didn't know about that issue. Or like, B, I haven't looked into it yet. It's been on the list. C, like, but someone's saved me the time, like you talked about, the most valuable asset. Someone saved me the time and done that for me. And, you know, then the next time I think that I need a social media agency, I'm going to think of them first.
Or one thing I just thought of then is a remix. You could remix an artist's song for free. Don't charge them any money.
Yeah.
Make sure it sounds awesome, and then send them over the remix, or ask them for permission if you can publish your remix.
Yeah.
And if they really like your remix, maybe you could collaborate after that.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Or like, for example, like, hey, loved your track. I put up my playlist, by the way, like, you know, and this is like my favorite playlist, and I listen to it all of the time. So you might get
a
some
bit lazy
things.
compared to remix, but
yeah, but like, you know, it's something, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, like, because music artists are quite concerned about getting on playlists at the moment. So it feels good when someone does do it, or, you know, maybe even like, hey, I really like your track, so I wrote it up on my blog or whatever.
Or here's one, you could say, hey, I really liked your track. Here's a lyric video I made in After Effects, and make one of those cool lyric videos.
Yeah,
because for me, it'd take me ages, and it's not actually that difficult. You can get templates to do it, but it would take a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know, that, and, you know, making content as useful for other people as well. Because the good thing about content is, as we know, it stays up there, and it can be like, good content is a magnet to your audience at the end of the day, isn't it? Like, it attracts your audience. So yeah, I mean, what I used to do as well, like, when people were asking questions on Facebook or wherever it was, or like Quora, is it Quora?
Yeah.
Yeah, or LinkedIn sometimes. Like, sometimes I'll just find ideas there of a useful bit of content or whatever. That, like, I know the answer to that question, and I reckon I can articulate it quite well inside a minute or 5 minutes or whatever. Make a video, boom, there you go.
Okay, so there's getting your foot in the door. That is ideas for content. But what should people be doing in terms of personal branding? Do you reckon they should use their own name, or do you reckon they should have something like Justice or Daft Punk, like
that would,
kind of a cool band name?
Yeah, I mean, it would be, at least by my definition, it would be personal branding if you went by your name.
Okay.
You know, because it's like you're branding, the brand is the person.
Oh, Daft Punk's a brand.
Yeah, but that's not a personal brand. That's a brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Christopher Carvalho is a personal brand, but Unlock Your Sound is a brand.
Okay.
You know, it's a separate entity, but they come together, if that makes sense.
So if you think they have a band name or a group name or a performer's name, you should also have your own? Or maybe call it like Christopher Carvalho from Unlock Your Sound, or something that connects them.
Yeah, I mean...
It's difficult, really.
It's difficult. It depends, right? Like, some artists are kind of a personal brand in the sense that, like, the artist is them, like, and it, you know, it's them, their face, their story, and all of that stuff. But they have an artist name, and they don't go by their legal name.
Lady Gaga.
Right. Yeah. But like,
for example.
But I would say that that's like a bit of personal brand, and a bit of brand as well, right? Because Lady Gaga is more than just one human being, but like it is based around one human being. You know, so like it's not like these are completely, it's not one or the other. There's a lot of mix in between. But I think like starting out on the internet, for example, like I think there's a platform piece to this as well. Like, because you might have, like, let's say you're on LinkedIn or Facebook or something like that. You might have your personal profile where you dive into the community and you help people out, but you are your name, but you also have a page of your artist page, and that's where the artist content goes out, but there's a bit of mix and it funnels into the artistry in that way, right? So it depends, but some artists, like, their artist name is their name, they are the artist, and it's one thing. So that makes sense as well. And sometimes it's like, you know, if it was me, for example, like if my artist name was Christopher Carvalho, which it probably never would be, but I might have a page saying Christopher Carvalho Music.
Chrissy X.
Right. But it might be, if I did choose my name, it would be Christopher Carvalho Music on my Facebook page, but like, or my LinkedIn page, or whatever it is. But I also go as, you know, I'm in the market as Christopher Carvalho as well. You know, because like all of your favorite artists, you know, to their peers in the industry, because they're friends and they have relationships, they go by their names, right? But they're helping each other out in their artistic endeavors and their entities that they're building, because that's what an artist is, right? It's like, even if it's not just a band or even just a solo artist, Lady Gaga is an entity, right? As well as a person, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm sure she works with producers and mix engineers and whatnot.
Exactly. So, you know, and there's a lot of people that are in the room.
So what do you think the first thing people should do to get started in this then?
So I really like that top 100 concept.
Yeah.
So find out, you know, who you want to kind of get in your life a bit, right? And don't necessarily, I feel like that you shouldn't necessarily just shoot for the top, you know, maybe shoot for people at your level.
What level you're on,
Yeah, right? Like,
you're not going to shoot for Daft Punk if you just start out.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't need to.
They're not going to collaborate with you.
You don't need to. Like, if you form a relationship with 10 people at your level and you'll help each other out, that's a lot of leverage.
Well, then you could build your level up and then find other people.
Exactly.
Scale up, yeah.
And then just find out, like, care about them, right? Like, take yourself out of the equation, care about what because they will probably broadcast on the internet at some point something that they need. And then you can come in with that thing, or you can just recommend someone. Like, even that's very useful, because then you provide it to the other person as well. And it just makes you look and feel good for a second there, right? You hook someone up. Like, I've done loads of hookup, actually. Like, I've hooked people up for like podcasts or whatever, I'm like, oh, you need to talk to that person. You need to talk to that person. And then you can check and go, oh, how's it going with them? And you're like, oh yeah, that's really, really great. Like we're doing this and this and this. You know, there's a lot of very small things, very low cost things that you can do that are high value to someone else in that moment. So do that.
So thank you for joining me on this video, Christopher.
Welcome as always. Thank you very much.
If you like this video, give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll talk to you soon.